Hello students, welcome to English e-learning class 8. Today we study our third chapter of English Fairy. The name of the chapter is His First Flight. His First Flight. This chapter is written by Liam O'Flaherty. This author was born on 28th August 1896. He was an Irish novelist, short story writer, and a major figure in the Irish literary renaissance. He served on the Western Front as a soldier in the Irish Guards and was badly injured. He is regarded as the major figure of Irish literary renaissance. This chapter, His First Flight, is about a bird who learns how to fly. Earlier bird is afraid of flying, but how mother helps, that is given in this story. So let's begin this chapter. Before starting, you must know what is needed to learn something. To learn something, you need confidence, encouragement, and skill. And in here, the bird is also getting encouragement because of his mother. This story describes the plight of a little seagull who is terrified to take his first flight with his siblings. As he is too afraid even to try to fly, he is left behind on the ledge of a high rock by his parents. He remains hungry and desperate until his mother takes matters into her hands. Read on to know more. In this story, the difficult situation of a little seagull. Seagull is afraid of flying, and but brothers and sisters, means siblings of little seagull, are able to fly. But seagull is afraid and he could not learn earlier, and he is sitting on the high rock, ledge of a high rock, on a steep rock, and his brothers and sisters are flying and they are enjoying, they are flying with his parents. And this time seagull is hungry, and in that desperate situation mother takes care of the child, and how she makes seagull fly in the sky, that is given in the story. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His two brothers and his sister had already flown away the day before. Here, this seagull was sitting on his ledge on the rock, and his siblings had already flown away one day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. As seagull was not knowing how to fly, he was afraid to try, and already brothers and sisters had left the place and he was still on the rock. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to fly his wings, he became afraid. But somehow, sometimes he tried. A little bit he had moved forward at the border extreme edge of the ledge. He attempted, means he tried to fly, flapped his wings, but he was not able to gather that much courage, and he was afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. And he noticed the sea that sea was stretched down, means on the nearby rock sea was there, and you can see in the picture of the book the bird is sitting on the rock, and nearby area it is far great expanse of sea is there, sea is stretched there, and it is miles down, and bird is afraid to fly. He felt certain that his wings could not even support, so he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. As he could not gather courage, he again returned back when he saw this sky When he saw the stretched sea, he was afraid, and then he returned back to his hole and slept whole night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take the plunge which appeared to him so desperate. Here, author tells that his brothers and sisters were younger than him. Their wings were far shorter, smaller than the seagull's wing. They ran toward the edge. They flapped their wings and they flew away from that rock. But Seagull could not summon courage to take that thrust, and he was in a very desperate condition. He was not able to gather courage, he could not move. His father and mother had come around, calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him he could not move. Then, when he was not able to gather courage, his parents started scolding, and because he was not trying and he was so much afraid, and parents were worried that he should, for the life of him, he could not move, means he cannot gather courage to learn something. Means parents started means in a high pitched voice, the piercing voice, they started scolding and threatening him because so that he will learn something. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sisters, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves, how to dive for fish. That was 24 hours ago, means already one day before they have left the place, and he was on the ledge, on the rock, and there was nobody near him. Nobody had come to him. That day, whole day he was there. He had been watching from the ledge, from the rock, that his parents were flying, brothers and sisters were, his siblings were flying, and parents were helping his brothers and sisters in perfecting them in the art of flight. They were teaching them how to fly, touching the waves, means they were making them fly, and how to dive for a fish, how to touch the waves, and how to get the fish. He had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around, raising a proud cackle. He saw his older sibling even caught his first fish, which he could proudly eat at the rock, and that time his parents celebrated it and they praised him. And all the morning the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, laughing derisively at his cowardice. Here, when they noticed his older sibling was able to catch fish, and their parents started praising, and after that morning his parents and siblings, whole family, taunted on the big plateau. They started laughing at Seagull for his cowardice. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on his ledge that faced south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Now the sun was rising up, ascending in the sky. It was very hot, means after the morning, the day was hot, and he was before from 24 hours he had not eaten anything. With the previous nightfall he had not eaten anything. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail. He got a piece of mackerel's tail at the edge of that rock. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. There was no food left. He got only mackerel's tail. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough, dirt-caked straw nest where he and his brothers and sister had been hatched. Then he searched here and there, every corner. He was searching something to eat. Among in the nest, he searched something to eat. He searched the place where his brothers and sisters were hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of eggshells. Then he was not getting anything to eat. Then he chewed dried pieces of eggshells, and it was like eating a part of himself. Here he chewed the pieces of eggshell from which his brothers and sisters were hatched, and he is also a brother sister of that. He is also brother of his siblings. Then he says it was like eating a part of himself because he is eating that hatched egg, pieces of that egg. He had then trotted back and forth from one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. Then Seagull started moving back and forth from one end to the other end of the ledge, and his long grey legs were stepping delicately, and he was trying to find some means of reaching towards his parent to get some food, but he was not gathering courage to fly. But on each side of him the ledge ended in a sheer fall of precipice with a sea beneath. When he tried to move from one place to another, and he was just in search of his in the reach of his parents without flying, then whenever he are reaching to one side, he could see the stiff part of that rock that was very steep, and he was afraid that he will fall, and the sea was visible from that place, and between him and his parents there was a deep wide crack. He could see between where his parents were on one rock and he was on one ledge or a rock, and there was a deep wide crack. It was not possible to cross that deep wide crack because that was very wide, and he was not knowing how to fly, and it was not easy to cross that crack, and because in between there was sea. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could not only move northwards along the cliff face. Here author says he could reach to his parents and siblings without flying if he could move towards northwards along the cliff. But then on what could he walk? Means there he needs a support, and he could walk, then only he can walk there. There was no ledge, and there was no support where he could move, and he was not a fly, and he was not knowing how to fly. And above him he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer, and the top of it was perhaps farther away than the sea beneath him. Means that stiff rock was very sheer, it was very tough to cross it, and it was very tough to reach on the top of that place, and it was away farther from him. Means only there was one chance that he should get a chance to fly, and he should know how to fly, but he was not gathering courage, and sea was there, and there was no support to move. He stepped slowly out of the brink of the ledge, and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wing, he closed one eye, then the other, and pretended to be falling asleep. Then when he was on the rock, he stepped slowly towards the edge of the rock, and he was standing on one leg, and one leg was hidden under his rock, and he closed one eye. It was just one acting. He was pretending that he is sleeping and to be falling asleep, and it was only pretension to show his parents. Still, they took no notice of him, but his parents and siblings, they did not notice him. They saw, but they have not shown that they are noticing whatever he is doing. He saw his two brothers and his sisters on the plateau, dozing with their heads sunk into their necks. Seagull saw his siblings on the plateau and they were dozing with their heads sunk into their necks, means they were taking a little bit half asleep. His father was preening the feathers of his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. Then he noticed that his father was cleaning his feathers on his white back, but only mother was looking Seagull. Means when he was doing this acting, he was pretending that he is falling asleep. That time others were busy in there, one was dozing, father was cleaning, and mother was only looking at the child, means at Seagull. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. Now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet and then scraped each side of her beak on the rock. Seagull's mother was standing on a little high hump on the plateau. She was there, and her white breast thrust forward, moved forward. Now and again she was tearing a piece of fish that was lying at her feet. Then she scraped each side of her beak on the rock. The sight of food maddened him. When mother was scraping that fish, that time when Seagull noticed this, the sight of a fish, after seeing that fish, he got mad because he had not eaten anything day before, and he was hungry. And he loved to tear fish, and he used to scrape fish, tear fish and scrape its beak now and then. How he loved to tear food that way, scraping his beak now and again to wet it. He uttered a low cackle. His mother cackled too and looked over at him. The seagull loved to tear food, and he started scraping his beak again and again. He wanted to just sharp its beak to tear that food, and he was having a desire to eat that fish. Then he uttered in a very low voice, that sound of the bird is cackle here. And even mother also cackled too. Mother laughed at him and she looked over at him. She looked the seagull. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him over some food. Now, seagull started speaking, or you can say making sound. He cried to get some food from his own mother. Gall, oo, la, she screamed back mockingly, and mother also screamed in a mocking way at his son seagull. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. But seagull wanted to get food, and continuously, mournfully, in a sad way, he just called mother, and after a minute he uttered a joyful scream. He was happy to see something. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. When seagull was calling mother to get that fish, that time, after some time, he was very happy to see that his mother had picked a piece of fish and she was flying across with it, and means she was approaching towards seagull. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer to her as she flew across. Seagull leaned eagerly towards mother to catch the fish. He tapped on the rock with his feet. He tried to get nearer towards mother as when she flew across that area, she was holding that fish in her beak. But when she was just opposite to him, abreast of the ledge, she halted, her legs hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within reach of his beak. But what happened when she was just near to the ledge, she was just approaching towards the seagull. She stopped there, and she was not too far away, and her legs were hanging, her wings were motionless, and the piece of fish was in her beak, and it was almost within the reach of his beak. Seagull was just near to the fish. Mother was holding the fish, and seagull was trying to get the fish, but there was little bit distance. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then, maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish. Seagull waited for a moment for his mother, but he was wondered why she is not coming towards him, and he was maddened by hunger. He was very hungry, and he dived at the fish. With his loud scream, with his loud noise, he fell outwards. He moved ahead and again downwards into the space to catch that fish. His mother had swooped upward, and his mother moved flight suddenly. She moved upward. As he passed beneath her, he heard the swish of her wings, and seagull passed beneath his own mother, and he could hear the sound of her wings when mother was moving ahead. Son means seagull was at the back, and he heard the sound of wings. Then a monstrous terror seized him, and his heart stood still. And then suddenly a terror seized him. He was stopped, and his heart stood still. He was afraid. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a moment. But he could not hear anything, and he was just flying. There was little bit terror, but that terror was for a moment, maybe for a few seconds. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards, and the very next moment he moved ahead. He spread his wings and moved outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. And when seagull spread his wings, then air rushed against his breast feathers, and then his stomach and against his wing. Then he was able to fly. He could feel the tips of his wings cutting through the air, and he could feel that his wings are able to cut air, and he was able to fly in the sky. He was not falling headlong now, and he was not falling. Earlier he was afraid, but he could feel that he is not afraid at all. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was able to move downwards and upwards. Spreading his wings, he was able to fly. He was no longer afraid. He just felt a bit dizzy. But little bit he was tired, but he was moving ahead. Then he flapped his wings once and he soared upward. Again he flapped his wings and moved ahead. He uttered a joyous scream and flapped them again. He was happy, and with the happiness he was screaming and flapping his wings. He soared higher. He raised his breast and banged against the wind. Ga ga ga, gal oola. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. And now mother was happy to see seagull flying, and when seagull raised his breast and he just banged against the wind, he was able to move against the wind, and he was singing, and mother was also flying up and down with a great speed, and mother's wings were also making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream, and when mother replied, the seagull also replied. He was also screaming. Then his father flew over him screaming, and father also supported. He also started screaming. He saw his two brothers and sister flying around him, soaring and diving. Then he saw his brothers and sisters, siblings earlier who were flying. Now they are around him, means they are also supporting, they are soaring in the sky and they are diving, and they are also flying. Mother is also supporting here. Father means everybody is in excitement and they are supporting seagull. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commenced himself to dive and soar, shrieking shrilly. Once he overcame his fear, he forgot that he was not afraid. Once he was afraid of it, once he was afraid of flying, he did all those things he once feared. He commenced himself to dive. He started diving and soaring in the sky, making sounds shrilly in the high pitched sound he used. Started making sounds. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing out over the ocean. He saw a vast green sea beneath him and with little ridges moving over it, and he turned his beak sideways and crowed amusedly. He flied straight over the sea, and he could see the greenery and mountains beneath him. He screamed out of joy as he enjoyed the victory. Means he was so much excited when he started flying. His parents and his brothers and sisters had landed on this green floor. In front of him, they were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. His legs sank into it. His parents and siblings had already landed on the green floor of the sea, and they were calling. You can see they were making gestures and they were calling him, making loud noises. And he dropped. Then, after listening the call of his parents and siblings, he dropped his legs and he tried to stand on the green sea. His legs then sank into the water of the sea. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. Seagull, earlier when he landed on the sea, his legs were inside in the sea. Then he was frightened, he got scared and he was little bit panicked. He tried to flap his wings, but he was tired and weak with hunger and he could not rise, exhausted by the strange exercise. He tried to escape, but he got tired and he was weak because of hunger, and already this was his first flight he had tried, and in the first flight he was so much exhausted because it was his first strange experience of flight. His feet sank into the green sea and then his belly touched it and he sank no further. His feet was inside the water in the green sea and his belly was touching the water and he sank no further, means half of the body was on the water. You can say he was floating in the sea. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. He had made his first flight. When he calmed down, he started floating in the sea, and he was once afraid of earlier. Then his family was celebrating in excitement, and parents and siblings started offering him food as a praise for him. Finally, he had overcome his fear and he had made his first flight. And when he has made his first flight, in that praise, everybody was offering him scraps of dogfish, and he was happy with his first flight. So, this is about this chapter. I think you must have got this chapter. Thank you.